evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Anirban Ghoshal. Welcome to this very special session under our ET Unwired series called Cutting Chai Stories, our Indianized version of what people globally often refer to as conversations over a hot cup of tea, or rather, coffee. The series is geared towards identifying leaders and understanding the very traits, routines, and thought processes that makes these leaders stand out in the industry across different sectors and verticals. During the conversation, we'll get a glimpse of the person, both personal and professional, who not only takes critical business decisions but ensures that the revenue clock keeps ticking. And today, we have with us a very special guest, a savant in the insurance sector with a total experience of over 30 years. Let us welcome Seema Gaur, Executive Director IT at IFCO Tokyo General Insurance. Welcome, Seema.
Thank you.
So, Seema, diving straight in, if I had to ask you to tell me about, your leadership approach in a nutshell, or what you think is leadership supposed to mean, what would that be?
See, you have to lead by example. What you expect your subordinates to be, they should look at you as a mentor, as an inspiration for them to be led with. You cannot be doing something different from what you expect the others to be doing.
Thank you for that very short, curt, but very insightful answer. I think leaders should lead by example. So, from a very personal perspective, Seema, what have you missed the most over the last year, obviously because of the pandemic and the lockdown?
See, the first of all, I would say is what you missed is you didn't get proper rest. And because all of us know that in the initial years of lockdown, you were doing all the job, whether it is household chores or your office and all, and even the office boys were kept away, and at home also you were not having much of assistance. That is one thing. Second is, of course, I'm missing my friends, meeting people, socializing physically. That is what all of us have missed. We have to maintain distance and restricted to our work and home. That is all. This is what I missed.
Seema, what keeps you motivated every day in the morning, right? When you get up and then work towards your organization's goals, right? Uh, you and I spoke before this meeting, and you said that you still feel that there's a lot more work to be done in the role or in the current assignment that you still are, right? So, what keeps you motivated to sort of be at it every day and make sure that you and your organization are meeting these goals?
See, the first thing which keeps me motivated is that we are here to perform certain duties. And I always count on my days that, yes, there are so many years for me to be retiring from job. So before I go, I should do such a job which leaves a mark and impression on the forthcoming generations that, yes, this was a leader who did this in her time period. And they try to emulate me, they learn from me, and they take this company forward. So today, when we have to meet, we have to compete with our competitors, with our peers in the industry. To meet those standards, IT is the backbone of any BFSI sector. So IT has to be geared up to be with the latest in the industry and to be up and running all the time with all the cutting edge innovations to be adopted so that the company grows forward.
Interestingly, Seema, what were some of the key emerging trends that you saw emerge in the insurance sector because of the pandemic?
Because of the pandemic, yes, one was, of course, to provision working from home. And not only that, to allow your stakeholders, it is our intermediaries, that is, and our channel partners, the brokers, agents, the customers, and of course your employees, all of them to be able to access all applications and systems seamlessly from every nook and corner of the country. So your networking has to be up to the mark, your data center has to be up to the mark, all your systems have to be working in such a way. Plus, the foremost was the secured environment to ensure that you are not attacked by any sort of cyber or fraud. So that was the foremost thing which we had to take care of while serving our stakeholders.
Seema, India still lags behind when it comes to insurance, right? I guess probably just something below 2% would be the number, if I'm not mistaken, is what the current ratio of uh, insurance or life insurance would be, right, in this country. With your experience for so many years in the insurance industry, you know what have you learned? Why is India hesitant to sort of go after insurance?
See, now most of us, we feel complacent. The Indian mindset is that all of us are satisfied, and we are so God-fearing that we feel whatever would come will be seen when you cross the river, when cross the bridge when the river arrives. So we don't plan for future, because every day to day people feel that okay, today's day is done and that is all. So one of the reasons for this is we do not perceive risk as falling on us, so we do not think of that situation beforehand, we do not plan for it. Secondly, because it is more of a socialist environment in the country, so majority of the folks in the lower middle class segment or the lower segment, they feel that the government would take care of them in terms of crisis. So that is also one of the reasons why people at that level, the lower middle class, feel that okay, we need not bother for insurance, the government will take care. And when it comes to the metropolitan or the upper class segment, my generation, for instance, we used to think, okay, we will see when the situation arises. But today the trend has changed, and we have seen a lot of youngsters, maybe the generation Z, which is quite aware of the importance of insurance, and we find lots of youngsters opting for insurance, whether it be their personal accident cover, health cover, and of course motor mandatory, it is there from the government, so they do opt for that.
You know, obviously, all organizations went through different challenges and opportunities due to the pandemic. What were some of the challenges and opportunities that you faced in your organization as an IT head?
See, during the pandemic, the first and foremost challenge we faced was that many people were not carrying their laptops home. So the situation was that they had their personal devices at home, whereas their official laptops were, or their official desktops were in office. So that was that to make them connected through their own devices to our systems, taking care of the security aspect. That was a challenge. And since we had to provide services to our customers, health insurance being on the top priority at that time, because you did have a lot of hospitalization on account of corona or otherwise. So it was our prime duty to ensure that our claimants do not suffer. So all the mobile apps, thankfully, we had done so much of digitization in the past that we were prepared for handling the claims or the queries of the customers remotely through the portals or through the mobile apps. And that did help us. But yes, providing employees with the services so that they are able to work from home, that was one of the challenges that we faced.
So, Seema, you are one woman leader at the top. And then we hear conversations about how all kinds of stakeholders, including the government, different large corporates, are talking and working towards building an equitable workforce. What is, how you as a woman leader, do you see or you can influence your organization to make sure that it also becomes an equitable workforce organization? And then how do you sort of plan to help women, pull women up, so to say, when it comes to the workforce?
See, to tell you, even now our ratio of women workforce in our company is more than 10%. I would rather say it is close to around, if you count the contractual manpower as well as on rolls, we may be close to more than 15%. So when you have such a large workforce, I see at the entry level, a lot of women are there. But you are right, when it the higher you rise in your career, you find the numbers getting diminished. So, and at the top, of course, we are fortunate. My company's managing director is also a woman, and she's a very dynamic woman, Miss Anamika Roy. And yes, we do have one or two women at the vice president level also, that is one level lower than me. But yes, I feel that we should be providing, such an atmosphere to the women that when they actually need help, that is the formative years of their kids, when they have just had a baby, and when they want the kids to be taken care of, they should be allowed to get the kids to office. The creche services should be provided. And in my department also, I take care that when any woman wants to work from home on specific occasions because of some family constraints or something at a personal level, some inhibition which is not allowing her to attend office, I do encourage them in those years when they need the maximum support. And once they've gone across that phase, we find, rather my gut feeling is that women at senior level are more productive, more empathetic towards their employees, and they are the ones who are able to lead the teams in times of crisis and in times of stress. Women by nature are more prone to handle stress better than their male counterparts. So this is my experience. During the pandemic time also, my managing director being a woman, of course, I was amongst one of the senior most people, among the top 5-6 persons in the company. We managed to come to office almost daily, right from April, along with our household chores that was being done by us. We know that all of us, there were no household help for that. We could manage stress, we could gear up the workforce, we could motivate the team, keep their spirits high, encourage them, empathize with them in times of need. And I would say we are quite competent of handling stress better than my male counterparts. So at the senior level, if the ones which are governed by women, worldwide, the countries which were led by women, they could manage corona better than the others. So that itself is an evidence of it. So it has been my motto that I should be supporting my women subordinates to overcome their period when it is they are taking care of the kids in a convenient manner, so that when they cross that phase, once their children are grown up, they are rather more productive and better equipped to lead the organizations as compared to their male counterparts.
Thank you so much, Seema. I think we hear your message loud and clear. I think, of course, having more women in the workforce obviously breeds innovation. I think great leaders have attested to that. With that, we come to an end to the interview. Thank you so much for your time.